You're tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
All right, you guys, welcome back to another Dancing with the Stars here on AfterBuzz TV. It is season 19, week 3. It was movie night. I'm Kristyn Burtt, and I'm probably about an octave lower. I caught a cold while I was in Boston over the weekend. Too much fun with the family.
Uh-oh.
But I know, what are you going to do? But we do have some great people here in studio. Right across from me, Suri Serano.
Hi, everybody. And I'm glad you're over there so I don't get sick.
Sorry, Toni. I know. Put up the shield. Put up the shield.
Yeah,
I won't touch you, I promise. After a long absence, we have not seen you since season 17. Jake Dupree.
Full season. Hi, I'm Jake Dupree.
Blonde bangs and all back. We love it. You look very tan.
Thank you. I tried to be.
I
Yeah.
know. I saw a lot of beach photos while you're in San Diego.
So much beach. So much
beach. Also making a return appearance, you were not here season 18, so season 17 was the last time we saw you.
Well, the last time. Yeah, we
Last
saw
time
each
Jake
other.
was here. Toni Basil, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
I have to say, I was telling Suri, I'm so excited you're here this week because there was some interesting judging going on, and I was like, Toni is the perfect person to break it down.
She'll break it down for us.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
She has a lot to say.
I love this. So let's start with the guest judge, which was Kevin Hart. Obviously, there to promote his movie along with Josh Gad, but not dance trained. So, what did we think about some of his judging?
Well, he makes us laugh, but his judging was laughable, okay? If we want to go right there.
Getting real.
I mean, he was throwing out high scores to people that I think he just wanted to hang out with or whatever because he was afraid would like get him after the show. Because it was, wow, he threw out some 7s and a 10 that was unconscionable.
Well,
Yeah.
didn't you, though? I did feel like I was kind of, it was refreshing that a guest judge just kind of did his own thing, because usually guest judges, I think, look and go, okay, well, they're giving a 7, they're giving a 7, I'll give a 7.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, you know, for me, he's fun, and I went with it, but I agree with Toni for sure as well.
I don't think he was doing his own thing. I think he was lost. I think he was lost and he had no idea.
I feel like he's probably never watched the show before.
You kind of got that feeling that he had never watched the show.
He's like, I just know I have to wear a tuxedo, that's it.
Yeah.
And I want my own dance number.
All right, let's go to that opening number. We have a new choreographer that we, Nick Flores and RJ Jarrell, not the usual Mandy Moore. Mandy Moore is off doing, opening the So You Think You Can Dance tour for season 11 in New Orleans this week. So they brought in guest choreographers. Did we like this opening number, Toni?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of rushed to the TV. I like the Marilyn Monroe stuff, and
Me
they
too.
looked really great. And the underneath dresses
Skirt
and all of
blowing,
that
yeah.
was really quite, the quintessential movie idea and that iconic picture of Marilyn Monroe. But then, you choreographing Kevin Hart next to Marilyn, and it was cute. I mean, how much can you do? Look, isn't your hat off to the choreographers who have to choreograph for people who can't dance?
That's
What can
very
you say?
true. I don't want to neglect our person on the phone here who's also homesick. I hope you're
Yes.
feeling better. Anna Trebunskaya, how are you?
Good. Sitting home and drinking my ginger tea and listening to you beautiful people chat.
Well, what did you think of the
Doing great.
opening number, since it wasn't Mandy Moore this week?
I liked it. It was a lot of Marilyn Monroe, which the song was about Marilyn Monroe. I think they featured our girls really well, in particular Cheryl in the pink dress. I love the outfits. I love
Gorgeous.
the whole air blowing down, the blonde's underwear. So that was fun. I'm kind of like, not like, oh my gosh, this was the best opening number ever, but then at the same time, there were worse ones. So I'm kind of like neutral about it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, the women who dance on that show are as beautiful as any movie star ever. So, it featured the girls, and you saw that, and it worked, in that respect.
Yeah,
Totally.
and I think we get so used to Mandy Moore. She does really big openings. I think that's always what you become accustomed to. And so when something's maybe a little bit more sedate, you're like, oh.
And
I
I
really
think
enjoyed it.
I thought the tempo of the song wasn't as high energy as what it should be opening Dancing with the Stars, but I mean, I thought the girls looked fantastic.
Yeah,
so
you
that's
did.
all that mattered, I guess.
That's all that matters. This was kind of an interesting week because this was the first week we didn't have a results show, and so no one really knew what was happening with the voting. But basically, all the votes from last week counted, which resulted in something, a very unique sort of situation and everything. I think a lot of fans felt a little ripped off that they couldn't, like, what was counting. It was confusing. People on Twitter weren't sure what votes were counting and everything else. And
Yeah, I have no idea.
yeah, I mean, the judges' votes and last week's from the audience vote. And it's one of those things that you got to realize that the Jeopardy really is BS because Randy wasn't in the bottom 3 last week, but then he
No.
was voted out. So it was really a double elimination over 2 weeks, basically.
I'm guessing. I was really confused by the whole thing, so I don't know how they determined what happened.
That it was a hot mess.
That's true. That is
So
true.
let's kick it off because poor Randy, not only did they tell him he was in Jeopardy before he danced, then he had to dance first for the second week in a row.
I mean, why do that? It's just so silly to tell them right before they dance first, that they're dancing first and you're in Jeopardy. I'm not a fan of that, but
Yeah.
I'm devastated, by the way.
I'm really sad. I'm really sad that he doesn't get more opportunities to dance because what I enjoy about him is that he dances like a man. It might be a little bit sluggish and flat-footed, but I think that
rugged.
I do. Yes, and I appreciate
Yeah.
that. I think that that's really enjoyable to watch, especially after the first week. Since I wasn't here with you guys,
Yes.
I loved the first week. I
Yeah.
thought he was exceptional.
His personality is fun. So he was doing a paso. We hadn't seen the paso doble because they didn't do it at all last season to Rocky. What did you see?
Is that what it was?
That's what it was, Tony, according to my
Sometimes
notes.
I'm going, what style are they doing now if I don't catch it in the very beginning? No, I didn't think I thought he deserved to go. I did. I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did. And I wasn't surprised. But, I didn't see the very, very first show.
He was good.
Yes.
good.
Well, I can tell by what you're saying. So, but just seeing that
Yeah.
and that dance, I wasn't surprised.
Right.
I
No.
did, I saw stuff from last week, so
And that wasn't very good.
Anna, what
either.
did you think?
that's right.
Anna, what did you think? Because the judges were talking about timing a lot.
Yeah, he was. There are a couple of places where he just look. He's a big guy and he's very square. So no matter what he does, he will always look slower than Karina. Really. So when you put as a choreographer a side by side section, your celebrity better and I'm not blaming Karina at all, but I'm saying that side-by-side sections where you kind of really compare the people and you go, oh yeah, she's a pro and he's not. But now that he's not a pro, he's the way he moves. He's very square. He's very bulky, obviously. I mean, and he's not a fast type of mover.
Yep.
Period. I mean, he's massive, this guy, which is understandable. So when you do things like that, so I didn't necessarily see the timing issue so much, but then again, we are looking at, I watched at home and we were looking at certain angles that the cameras are showing us, and the judges can see the whole thing as it is. So maybe there was something while they were focusing on his face or whatever. But I didn't see the timing issue. I did feel he was a tad bit slower than Karina, but again,
Tony, you think he was a lot slower? Yeah.
I'm telling him, it's like telling him, you're slow and heavy, and he's like, yeah, I am. Can I just chip in about, I thought this was a very good dance to Randy. I really enjoyed it. He didn't do as well the week before, and I think really that's what kind of messed with him.
And he was first both times, and then they tell him you're in jeopardy. I think that's psychologically that does stuff to you.
But I'm sorry. I think
Right.
7s across the board, which is I think what happened. I think that was too high.
He
I think
actually
that
got-
was a 5.
He got 2 7s, 2 6s.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it was?
So,
Well, I could have seen a 5
you see,
there.
Tony, I feel you're looking. Okay, Tony. Maybe this is just me looking at the technicality of what he was actually doing, and there was some really good twist turns, there was good frame, there was good leading on his part. I really enjoyed the routine. He was in character the whole time, which is not much of a stretch for him, obviously. But I'm sure what you're looking at, Tony, is more of the finesse, the
and I was-
grace. And no, he doesn't have that.
Yeah, I was looking at an overall, you see it. No one could see it deeper than you see it. You've experienced this, you know. So you just...
Yeah, thank you. And I'm probably going to have to keep my mouth shut later in the show about something that I saw, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they just said that.
I thought, the 7 and the 6 might have been high.
I think a lot of people just really enjoyed his personality, though, too. He really tried. He really wanted to be there, and I always admire that.
That's what was so shocking about the first week, because I didn't expect him to move really at all, and I thought that there was something really tender and loving about the way he moved. And I'm going to miss that. I really am going to miss that in the next coming weeks.
See,
I feel exactly the same way as what you just said. I've been in love with him from week 1.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I think somebody else could have gone.
And I know Karina was excited by this partnership. I talked to her publicist, and also Victor Ortiz was the one that convinced Randy to do it. I know that Victor's very, it's funny because I always felt like he had a hard time on the show, but Victor loves this show. He's there every single week in studio he can. He's a very big cheerleader and so supportive of his friends that I kind of love that whole thing altogether.
Well, it certainly didn't hurt Randy being on the show. It elevated everything, and people saw a side of him that they haven't seen. So
a very likable side, which is always a bonus. Let's move on to Alfonso and Whitney doing Austin Powers Gold Member. They did a quick step, which, gosh, was this a hard song to do a quick step to? Because I was like, I don't get this.
I mean, it's so many genres within that song in terms of just moving from hip hop to R&B and all this stuff. So I applaud them for anything they did in terms of quick step. She looked like a true star. She is a true movie star. Oh, I think I can't help but watch her. I think she's fantastic. And Alfonso, I love him. I think his movement quality is genius. I agree with Julianne that he needs to get down on the ground because he's so grounded whenever he does his thing. But when it comes to actually being in hold, he needs to be really in the floor instead of ooh, like she said, I'm going to carry your fat ass around, like she said in rehearsal.
I'm dragging you.
Yeah. So it's I get it. I saw that at times.
Do you guys think that the judges are already nitpicking on Alfonso just because he's got that level of dance? They can. I mean, did you feel that?
I think he's going to start to lose more and more weight, and he's going to become the sex symbol of Dancing with the Stars. This guy,
Those hips can move, honey.
You know what? He was on such a hit show, but you couldn't see past Will Smith. And he kind of fell through the cracks. And this is a fabulous character actor. He's a great actor. Turns out he's a great dancer. And I want him, something this show gives people is their career back. And I want this for him. He's so talented. I'm so excited for him. I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him.
Good partnership. Anna, what did you think of their quick step?
I agree with Julianne's comments. She seemed like this week she was the most technical one out of everybody. The song was more of a samba or really a hustle.
A hustle.
It was more of a hustle.
That's right.
Yeah, so it was not too much of a quick step, but they made it work, and they both shine. I really like this partnership. I think their age difference doesn't bother me at all. I think they both just such bright individuals, have such great charisma that they just enhance each other in that way. So I almost feel like having the 2 extra girls was not necessary, but having those 2 extra girls dance, behind them was like a little bonus, and I actually enjoyed both of those girls a lot. Actually, their dancing too.
Suri, what do you think of their dance?
I love this couple, and I've said it, I think, last week that they're going to the finale for sure.
Easily.
Without a doubt.
I agree with Toni. I really think it's amazing what he's doing, and I hope that it catapults him forward.
Yes, and I've heard through all the spoilers and everything else that he's doing the Carlton dance next week. It's not unusual, so we'll see a little Fresh Prince going on there. Straight 8s across the board. I think for them it's good, something to work up to the 9s and the 10s.
There could be a 9 in there.
There could have been, and I think this is going to put fire under both of them. They both are in it to win it. So
for some of the dancers that got 10s,
Yeah.
this could have gotten a 9 at
Absolutely.
least.
We're in for some good performances from them coming.
I'm looking forward to more, and I feel like this is Whitney's breakout year too. So or season, this is really good.
Well, she's new on the show, yes?
She's been in Troop, and then last season she was a pro. She was partnered with Cody Simpson, but when they did the switch up, she was with Drew Carey, and she was fantastic.
Nailed it.
Oh, yeah.
Totally nailed it. Before we move on to our next dance, we do have a word from our sponsor, Dish Network.
Wherever you live in this great country of ours, Dish can bring you great TV. From the big city to the farmlands, high on a mountain or low in the valley, Dish delivers all the great movies, shows, and sports you can handle. Monthly packages start at just $19.99 a month for 12 months. This is your day, America. Get Dish and get thousands of TV shows and movies on demand and free installation in up to 6 rooms. Visit dish.com/AfterBuzz. That's dish.com/AfterBuzz. Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee and other restrictions apply. Requires a clear view of the southern sky. Call for details.
Did he just say we can get Dish for just $19.99 a month?
Well, yes, he did, dear.
And what do we pay for TV now?
A whole lot more than that, dear.
And why do we do that?
I don't know.
Get Dish. Go to dish.com/AfterBuzz. That's dish.com/AfterBuzz.
Alrighty, we are back. Dish.com/AfterBuzz. We have got to talk about Betsy and Toni. I am having so much fun watching them this season. Contemporary Ghost. Okay, Toni, go ahead. Let her rip.
Well, I saw flap, flap, flap. First thing I saw, the flap, 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 flap. And I went, oh, no. You know, she's famous for the runway to do that cartwheel and split at the end of the runway. So as this extremely famous, you know, designer, she's got to be rich as hell. This, you know, is the highlight of her life.
Yes.
She is so happy doing this. So that shows through. I mean, that's the highlight of her dance. And she's so nervous about it, and she's worried, and she's really going through some changes here. But, you know, at the end when she went up and he turned his back and walked into the sunset, I got a feeling he was thinking, oh, thank God. Because it's got to be insane. You know, he's doing a great job with her. But that, I mean, this is where these choreographers shine, is working with a personality like hers, and she's not young, and, you know, getting her through the number.
She needs some nurturing, I think, you know, because I feel like she needs encouragement and everything else. But I think Tony's doing a great job.
He is.
Doing lifts with her, I thought that was great. She's petite, so, you know, he's had some really, really tall partners the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, I feel well, yes, my hat is tipped off to Toni this week again. And, I mean, he has so much experience with dealing with these types of situations and choreographing for them. And I think it was a favor that they got Contemporary, to be honest, because he could choreograph that well for her and make her look.
Yeah, her toes weren't pointed, but I'm like, look, she did a back bend. I was like,
I mean, she did a back walk over into a split. Yes, that's impressive.
I was like, rock on, sister.
I felt like overall, I wanted there to be more choreography for her. Because the past few weeks, I felt like they've had hold moments, they've had things, but I mean, this was a lot of separate work, the two of them separate from each other. So it wasn't that great because in terms he's not leading her in a certain way. But I really like watching her. I just think she's so cute. Those biscuit feet make me want to make me want to die a little bit. But I do really like her a lot. I think that I do think she'll go very far because this is what this show is about. It's
the journey.
These people having so much fun, and you can tell she's just a light.
It's the highlight of her life.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's a light.
And who isn't moved by that? I think a lot of us feel moved by that. We've all, like I said last week, you know, we've all felt ugly, and she said she finally felt pretty, and I was like, oh, I feel that.
How fabulous.
Yeah.
I feel that. It was a genuine moment. Anna, what did you think of their Contemporary?
I mean, he, again, choreographed really well for her. I think it was safe, but it was solid. And I'd rather see her being solid than, you know, falling about and me sitting home and, like, feeling like I'm going to have a heart attack because the 72-year-old lady's going to, you know, fall and hurt herself. So, yeah, but I enjoy watching her. I think she's great TV, so lovable, so cute. You know, she's a cute 72-year-old,
Yeah.
very flexible, acrobatic lady.
She is flexible.
I love the fact that she's on the show. I think they should try to keep her there as long as they can because she is definitely, she's a gem. She's a gem.
I totally agree. Now, this is where the scores get really wacky. 7-9, 6-7. The 9, of course, was from Kevin Hart, just being like, wrong. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous and way too high of a score on a couple of levels early in the show. And then they have no place to go but straight 10s across later on because they have no place to go up. And that didn't make sense.
Yeah, it does the show a disservice if you think about it, because we complain about judging in numbers all the time. So I know that he was doing it sort of as a gift, but then you're like, wait a minute. Their total score was 29. Next up, Leah and Artem doing Power of Love from Back to the Future, 8 Cha-Cha.
Can I please
Go ahead, Anna. Go ahead.
Please start on that. So I'm out of all y'all, I'm the ballroom technical person, I suppose. So I loved the whole package and the whole setup, and then going Back to the Future, and that whole shebang was fabulous. Okay, that was fantastic. Drew me in. I mean, even being raised in Russia, everybody in the world knows Back to the Future, so I clearly am a fan of hers already. So then I see the Cha-Cha, and I actually agree with Carrie Ann that said it looked like you were kind of on the way you were moving, like you were unsure. To me, she was kind of all over the place. She was not on her balance. Her shoulders were up her ears. She was trying to connect with Artem, but at the same time, she lost her own presence, which is one of her best features. She has, one of the better postures on the show right now from celebrities. So I was a little bit taken aback. I've expected more from her because she has that great, amazing training, and because she did so well in the first couple of weeks, I felt this was not her strongest performance.
Did she start falling apart when the hand started slipping and it took her out of the performance, or did you think she was already out of it before?
I think before.
She started falling apart the moment the skirt went off. She started falling apart. It was like she was trying to do this and it's like she was trying to run behind Artem, and he was trying to kind of control her a little bit, and then it just ended up, having a bit of a mess during a cha-cha-cha is a good thing because sometimes it can come across as energetic and sexy. But that wasn't it. That was not sexy and energetic.
Maybe being at the top of the leaderboard created a little bit of nerves for this week. What did you see, Toni?
I thought it was just okay, and I thought she came off blah. I felt like there was no charisma. Nothing happened. I mean, and you mentioned all this great technical training. Well, wow.
Where to go?
Where was that? She's, and as a good actress, she really should have been able to get on automatic pilot no matter where she was, and as an actress, pull it off. And it didn't feel like she could even pull off.
Get back in it.
Yeah. She couldn't recover.
No. I think maybe it was that whole production thing, like running to get to your spot at that little prom moment, and then they had the synchronization with the dancers behind them, and she went down off of everybody else. It just felt like it was this gunshot right out of the gate, and she couldn't catch up to that gunshot. So I was disappointed for her because last week she nailed it. That was beautiful.
Great job.
But I want from her to really strengthen her legs. I feel like her upper body is very strong, and that's why her shoulders are kind of up, and her legs are a little weak for me, so I want her to be a little bit stronger within her legs and footwork and things like that.
How about you, Suri?
For me, it was also middle of the road. I keep expecting, I keep wanting to see her training, wanting to see more from her, because I expect more from her, and I kind of always kind of left feeling the same way a little bit. But in general,
she's got some great legs.
I'm excited about her being on the show because we can actually critique her because she can she dance.
Yes,
she
can.
That's what's fun.
I really like her, so I want to see
she's got the foundation.
Yeah.
And the one thing I worry about is if she falls to the middle of the pack. Somewhere around week 5 and 6, we lose someone that's really good.
It could be her.
You could be setting yourself up for That's the surprise elimination, and you're like, oh, that woman could dance.
And I'm also really blown away by Artem. I think that he is giving her really awesome choreography, and I'm excited that he's having a moment for the show. I think
Artem's
that's cool.
awesome.
We love him. 7, 8, 8, 8, total of 31 altogether. We move on to Michael and Emma doing a waltz to Robin Hood, and God bless that hat. What?
Why?
Who approved that? Who?
He said he wants to keep that.
Okay, that hat was awful. Anna, I mean, how bad was that hat? Couldn't you have told wardrobe, like...
It was so distracting. It was so distracting, the hat. I mean, I felt like I was, flown to Halloween a little bit too early on that time machine. I mean, like... It's a beautiful waltz, and Emma looked delightful, and she always has, banging outfits. And he just looks a bit like a caricature. And I do really feel it's because of the hat. And everybody was praising him and saying, this is your best performance. Here's the balance there. I mean, maybe it was his best performance technically because she gave him more technical things, but he messed up numerous times, and it wasn't as charismatic for me as his other performances, to be honest with you. And if Michael loses his charisma because he's trying to be technical, he's going to be gone quicker than we all would like to.
Yeah, I think it's his earnestness that appeals to people. Sorry.
Yeah, for me, that is what he has. He tries so hard, and he's so honest, and he gives, you know what I mean, like, and just is so in it. But I'm worried for him next week, to be honest. Yeah. I'm a little worried.
I don't think I am, actually. I really appreciated this moment for him because I felt like he showed that he can actually learn technical choreography. It might not be stellar, but I do. I think it's really cool, and I think that he showed his personality still. I don't know. There was a moment, it was just really sweet watching the two of them, and I really appreciate everything that she does with her older celebrities. I don't know, I just really liked it for some reason. I was moved.
He's got the NASCAR fan base, too, so we should never underestimate that.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's
Tony.
It's endearing.
No, I have a confession. I'm heartbroken because I literally missed the number. I didn't see it, and I would have loved to have seen him dancing in this Robin Hood hat picture because it sounds like maybe it was either the high point of the night or the comedy break of the night.
I'm gonna try and find the hat for you.
Yeah.
It's like.
Whoa, what's happening?
But he got 7s across the board. Do we think that was a little bit generous?
Too high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm sorry, too high.
If you're going to give the first couple 2 7s and 2 6s, he should get 2 7s and 2 6s. I do believe that.
Robin Hood hat.
Kristen is busy Googling the hat.
Yes.
Or if someone can tweet it to me, rock on. I'll see if I can pull it up. All right, so, I think it's one of those things you can never underestimate that one person that has the journey that people really like. Emma's done very well with that. We saw it with Bill Engvall. I think she could have even done it last season had Billy D. Williams been healthy and things like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Cheryl and Antonio. Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, a Marvel film, which is owned by ABC, Disney, doing the Foxtrot. I do want to say something for those of you that watched last week and that were in studio. So Suri and I, we talked about he had no Latin heat. Well, he has no Latin heat because he's Italian. So that's why that was my fault. I called him out as Latin. So he's Italian. Although I think if you're Italian, you should have some sexy heat.
I'm Italian.
Yeah.
Those Italian guys.
You're sexy,
Bring
sir.
the
You got
heat.
some heat.
Bring the heat.
Oh, yes, the heat.
Yeah, sexy. Yeah, like Latin, Italian. I think all those guys are supposed to have, and that's why he's so handsome. And I'm
You're
like,
forgiven for that mistake because people often think I'm Latin.
yeah, okay.
So,
well, there you go. But I'm expecting like you just be oozing sex like out of every pore, and I don't get that with him.
I've been expecting him to be that the whole time, and every time I'm like, it's like watching paint dry. Like it's very dry for me a little bit.
I don't feel
I
that
want him
way
more.
about
I just want
him.
something more from him. I really do.
Really?
Tony doesn't agree.
No,
There's the Robin Hood
There's
hat.
the Robin Hood hat.
Yeah, let it go.
I don't feel that. I mean, I thought, I maybe because I didn't expect much from him.
Yeah.
That I think he's doing okay. I mean, what they got all 7s. Yeah.
3 7s and an 8 on the Foxtrot. I think this is the most fun he's had.
Yes, for sure. I appreciate that. Because it looks like he's not counting in his head the whole
I
time.
love the fact that he's all in. you know, and he's working his
He
booty
seems
off.
to be likable. He seems to be a nice guy.
There's a sweetness to him.
Yes, he doesn't seem to be arrogant about his good looks, which I think is a plus for him. I think it's a plus for the audience that's, you know, a fan base.
And those dimples.
He's not playing off of his looks as well. I don't feel that way at all.
And I think he really, I believe he requested Cheryl this season too, and it's one of the reasons why she came back and everything. And if anyone's going to make you look good, it's going to be Cheryl. If you put the trust in her, you know you're going to go out there and she's going to give you like killer choreography. And I feel like he's finally just trusting the process. But this was the first week he trusted the process. What did you see, Anna?
I really enjoy him off the dance floor when they have all these little packages and the interviews, and when he responds and reacts to the judges. I think he's a nice guy. He really comes across like that, likable. But when I agree with Jake, when he gets on the dance floor, he all of a sudden becomes kind of boring. And I agree with Carrie Ann. He's stiff in funny places, and let me describe those places because the others didn't have the time.
In weird places.
He's stiff in his right, which is like okay. He's stiff in his knees. He's stiff in his knees. He's stiff in his neck.
Yep,
And
that upper
he does
back.
not,
Whoa.
He does not create any opposition in his body. He does not twist his upper body off his hips. Everything is very square.
Anna.
Is he one of those that like walks with the hand and the foot right, left, like that?
What's happening? Oh, Lord.
So here we go. That's
yeah.
what I think. 7, 7, 7, 8. I think the 8 was unnecessary. I think it's 7 for kind of looking handsome in the suit, following Cheryl's advice throughout the week, and working hard and bringing a good material. And I did see an enjoyment moment when they were side by side. He looked much more like he was in it, and I would love to see more of that from him.
You said that he requested Cheryl. I didn't realize the stars could the stars could request their.
Yes, they can.
They can.
Oh, they can, because they all seem so surprised at the first show when they're I didn't know.
They're both in microphones.
Well, I think they can request. Doesn't mean they're going to get.
But they don't know who's really going to walk in the door. Maybe.
Yeah, they'll. And some people don't care. They go, yeah, I'll do it. And you want to dance with it? No, I've never seen the show. I don't care.
I also think the more the producers. I was going to say the more the producers want you to, you might have a little more leverage too.
Yeah, you can make a call.
Yes.
I'll agree.
Right, that's true.
Like I want Derek Hoff.
Yeah, I think Antonio Sabato Jr. is a good get. You know, I mean, he's handsome. He's got a huge fan base.
Yeah.
He's got the soap fans, which are always like the best ever to have to
Die
vote
Hard.
for. Die Hard. They're amazing. So I think like if you can get him on the show and he wants Cheryl,
Let's do it.
okay, rock on. All right. Before we go on to the final 7 dances or so, I guess somewhere around there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dances, we do have to remind you guys, iTunes. Don't forget to download us on iTunes. You can rate us over there. 5 stars. Don't
Please
forget
give
about
us
that.
5 stars.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, or 10,
Flash,
15,
flash.
whatever it is.
It helps us.
It definitely helps us for sure. And of course, we appreciate all of your YouTube comments as well. Moving on, we've got the 7th dance of the night. And one of my favorite couples, like every single week, I'm like, what are they going to deliver? Sadie and Mark. They did probably the sweetest, most charming Viennese waltz from the movie Up.
That was cute.
It was
really
cute.
Adorable.
Is that what it was?
I don't know.
It was cute.
It was a Viennese waltz.
It was a Viennese waltz.
It
Okay.
was. I don't know if you would call it a Viennese
It's
waltz.
hard, you know. It's hard because I'm so used to seeing ballroom, because I used to go to those. I love those real traditional hardcore ballroom competitions.
Yep.
And, you know, the music is appropriate. And because they're on television and you've got, I'm sure, the guys upstairs behind the desks in the offices saying, we want this piece of music, that piece of music, and then all of a sudden you've got this piece of music that doesn't really fit with the dance that you've got to do.
There's a lot of that on that show.
It's
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah.
And this one was easy to clear because Pixar, of course, is also a Disney company. So, you know, I do feel like this girl is a star, though. She's just charming, and you just know ABC Family's going to, like, scoop her up and put her on her show when she's done with Duck Dynasty. That's how I feel.
I knew nothing about her because I have never seen Duck Dynasty ever. I'm like, I didn't know it was really a thing. And then
it's a big thing.
Where have you been?
And I'm from the South, so I should know what this is, but I don't. So, but Sadie, I really, really, really enjoy her movement. I think that she's a little like Baby Deer at some points where it's like, I don't know how to use my legs, but
I still feel like she's growing. She has those coltish like legs.
But
And,
I just think she is stunning to watch, and I love that her and Mark, you can tell that the two of them have so much fun together, and they've made a true connection, and I love watching that. So I'm excited to see. I think she'll do really, really well. She's got, Midwest, Southern support,
she's got that block.
That's a big thing.
That voting block. What did you think, Anna?
I agree a little bit with Toni that it was, I would say, Viennese Waltz inspired.
Viennese Waltz light.
Loosely.
Yeah, there was a little Viennese Waltz, shadows of Viennese Waltz here and there. But I think as a number, it was lovely, it was sweet, it was touching. She is, again, like I said at the very first week, she doesn't think twice. She just, Mark says, we'll do this, and he choreographs very appropriate routines for her, and she delivers every single time. So I'm excited to see them, and I'm enjoying watching her sweetness and innocence. Let's put it that way, because it's refreshing. Like, I would want my daughter to see that routine. Like, that was very cute.
It is. There is something refreshing about her, isn't there? That's a great adjective for it.
Oh, she's very Disney. It's just sweet and fun, and she's not one of my favorites. She's cute and likable, and like I said, a middle American, star, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, I think that ABC Family's probably like ready to grab onto her and be like, we're going to make a show for you.
Yep.
That's what I see. 8s across the board. 32 was their score. I thought that was great.
Fair.
She should feel good about that.
I think that she'll achieve a 10 throughout the season if she lasts. I really
think she
do.
could.
She's got charisma off the screen, off the dance, and she's able to pull her charisma through the dance too. So she's but she's got a great guy in Mark. He's really tapped into what she looks good doing.
Yeah.
And it's a good pairing.
It's a very smart pairing.
Really, really smart.
And ABC is doing a show with her and Bethany called The Beatty Show, like on YouTube.
Oh.
And it's interesting to watch where Bethany is the YouTube star. She's actually very reserved and a little bit more grounded. And you see Sadie, she's like, blah, 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 very bubbly and everything
cute.
else. And it was interesting to watch that dynamic and see the two of them behind the scenes.
Sadie's fearless.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah. She's not afraid. It's nothing, she's not intimidated.
No, and she's not afraid to look foolish, and that's a bad term, but she's just like, I'm here and I'm going to do it, and there's going to be no apologies. I'm just doing it. So that's cool.
Good for her. That's a good quality to have. Next, we go on to a couple that last week we spent a lot of time talking about, Jonathan and Allison. Great Gatsby, they did a tango this week. Let's sort of track back to talk about Allison and what we saw last week versus what we saw this week. We saw a little behind the scenes of her talking to Mark. Mark has overshadowed his partners a couple times.
Yeah.
Lacey Schwimmer is another one that her name was brought up. But knowing Allison, I knew she was going to take this note.
100%.
100%. Take it to heart.
Yeah.
Ask for advice. Anna, I'm going to let you go because I know you know Allison.
Yeah, I think Allison is put in a sort of an interesting position where she's very open about the fact that, hey, I'm not a trained ballroom dancer, and I'm here to bring something different to the show, and I think that's exactly why she's a pro this season. I love her. I'm a fan of hers, and that's another reason I think why she's on the show this season. And she is very aware of what she's good at, and, something she understands, okay, I might have to pick up a slack here and there in tango or cha-cha, whatever it is, every single week. So I am proud of her for going for advice. I'm proud of her for taking the notes. To me, the tango itself was, I counted there were about 4 8s that was a proper tango choreography, like an international tango. And the rest was very Argentine tango. So there's a lot of posing. They didn't travel very much from A to B, and Toni, you would agree with me because you've seen those competitions. Those guys travel. You know, when they tango, they move. And to me, that machine didn't move very much. But because, again, it's TV and the angles made it look good, you know, the the camera angles, it came across well. And I think they both were in character, and they both looked beautiful and stunning. And is this my favorite tango routine? No, but I also feel that we have not seen, and I'm going to say it in a positive way, the wrath of Allison. Like, it's coming. Give a girl a contemporary jazz routine. Give her a paso doble or a rumba, something that is, because she's a very dramatic dancer. And I think what we saw in that tango was just a little surface. So,
and she's coming off of last week too. Yeah. I think, you know, she's just like, I've got to appease the judges a little bit. Sorry.
Yes. I love Allison. I really like the number a lot. For me, aesthetically, and I love The Great Gatsby. She showcased him. You could see them as a couple more versus just Allison. And I knew for sure she was going to take those notes and make sure that the content this week was there enough.
And we saw Jonathan more too, I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
It's just so hard not to watch her because she's
so dynamic.
I mean, she is a true dance star because she's so recognizable, and the way she moves is so specific and interesting, but also very technical. And so I find myself not really watching him at all throughout these dances. So, I mean, he provided a great pivot point for her to really turn around him. That's how I felt throughout the whole thing. I just really appreciate watching her, and I'm glad she's a part of this show.
Yeah.
I was surprised he was so good, and I think that's because of her.
Yeah.
But, I mean, stop me if I'm wrong. Her forte is not partner dancing. Is it really?
No.
I mean...
wow, and that's tricky. Take it from me. Partner dancing, knowing the guy's part and the lifts and...
it's a whole different thing.
Whoa, baby, is a whole different thing. So she's got her work cut out for her just in that respect. And I think the fact that he looked good says something for her since, as we said, she took her notes.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the producers showing this advice session between the two. I think that's really cool for the audience to see what all goes into the dance. Because I think Tyne didn't really get that chance when she was on the show.
Well, you know, when you said what the producers showed, I noticed this year what I like is happening. They've added this behind the scenes, but they've also added some, I don't know. I like what's happening in between the numbers. I like how the show looks. It looks lush. It looks lush in the backlogging of what's happening with people, and I like the way it's shot.
And it seems so organic, and there's something very realistic about the whole experience. Like you can obtain it.
It's like the backstage of the backstage. It's like they showing that they filmed in the fact that they're being filmed. I mean,
yeah,
it's
behind
like,
the
we've seen
scenes.
a lot of that sort of avant-garde, a little bit, kind of rustic almost feel, very, what's that big, you know, it's like a fashion now. You go to a restaurant and it looks like you were in the barn, but at the same time it's techno.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like that look. Restoration Hardware.
Restoration Hardware, yeah.
Yeah, and that's Rob Wade's contribution because he is the new producer this year.
Well,
so you're definitely seeing
I was going to say there's got to be a new producer here because you kind of what's happening before they dance and in between when they dance is as interesting and as good as seeing the dance number.
Yeah.
People love that.
Yeah, and the amount of complaints I had for Conrad Green, this is good. I feel like I'm giving some good notes to Rob Wade. I was yelling at Conrad all last season.
You were.
Straight eights across the board for them, 32. We've got 3 dances left, and I know we're starting to run out of time, and I want to make sure we get to our 10 dances. So, Janel and Val, West Side Story, Jazz. Back and forth on the legal stuff when it came to the music and like whether they couldn't replicate what was in the movie. How do you not replicate what is in West Side Story? It's so iconic, whether it's the stage show or whether it's the movie.
Yeah, I know. We were talking on the way.
Well, America is different in the movie than it is on stage, because I've done the role of Anita, and the role of Anita on stage is just the women's number. And in the movie, it's male, female. But, I mean, he did steps. He used steps from that choreography.
That skirt,
and come on.
And how do you avoid that anyway?
Well, and why? I think there's legal problems with Jerry Robbins' choreography. You can't do it. Even if it's, you know, the other Broadway shows or the other ballets he's choreographed. So that's probably what came down on the pike was that. It's very, very stipulated. If you do, because I did the original choreography, but you had to get big clearance for that. So, yeah, that probably was very realistic that did happen.
Do you see that with like a Michael Bennett and a chorus line too? Would you have similar clearance rights for that, or is it just
I'm
like,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's only a certain amount of people who are approved to teach it.
Although Michael Jackson paid no attention on one video that looked exactly like West Side Story, so I don't know how he got that clearance or what. But
Exactly.
All right. Well, Janel is trained in this style. First of all, I mean, she's a Broadway kid herself, so this is very comfortable for her. She didn't seem very ruffled by all the changes back and forth. She seemed like she rolled with it, and I think she should, being, you know, a performer as a kid all the way through now.
It's like you just roll with it.
Did we think this was 10s all across the board in week 3?
no, it's too early for 10s across the board.
not.
But is that not because they scored too high in the early part of the show?
Or they were rewarding them for overcoming the obstacle of this legal stuff. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if I feel that way, but I definitely was staring at my screen like, huh? 4 10s, way too early. I agree with Toni, and perhaps because they had nowhere to go. But was it because of the production value? And Val does such a great job with his numbers.
The staging
now
was
and
fantastic.
His girl, and everything. I don't know, but it 9s.
Val is talented.
Yeah, straight 9 across the board.
It's exceptional.
Yeah.
There are parts like the very end where she goes into that lunge. He like swings her around, and the lunge comes out, and then it ends. That was a little messy to me. Like I'm surprised that no one called that. Like no one called that. And I think maybe in studio, maybe the elements that he created with in terms of production were more appealing for the judges in person. But on TV, it came off as kind of messy, which I didn't expect from her or him. But I love him and I love what he does. But this just was not a 10 to me. Certainly not this early.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. I just had to throw it out there because then we're going to have another 10 dance coming at the end of the show. Tommy and Peta, gosh, Argentine tango, Scent of a Woman. It smells like Max, kids.
I died.
Come on.
I died.
It smells like Max.
If those of you don't know, she and Max used to be an item a while ago.
But I love that. How does Tommy Chong know the scoop on Dancing with the Stars dating history? Does he have does he keep up with TMZ? I love it.
Oh my God.
He's always been a dance fan because when I used to go salsa dancing, he was always there.
He was.
He salsa dances, yes, and
he's sexy.
See, I know all
sexy.
these, and I know he tango dances because obviously he's telling her what to do. He was talking more Argentina tango. He wasn't doing ballroom tango, but I think he might fall apart with a quick step. Or with a paso doble, or the waltz. So I mean, it's going to be very interesting. Maybe he'll. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see him doing some dances that maybe he hasn't studied. I mean, it's not like he goes out dancing at night.
You can tell.
Yeah.
So, Anna, what did you think of their Argentine tango?
You talking to me?
What did you think of their Argentine tango?
Anna.
Yeah, cool. My favorite routine of the night, that's what I thought.
Really?
Absolutely my favorite routine
so
of the
sexy.
night, because this is the thing, you guys, is that you usually end up watching a professional girl when they part up with the celebrities, and that's kind of part of the deal a little bit, some girls kind of want that sometimes. But I could not stop but watching him. I mean, he shined throughout the whole routine. He looked very strong, and I was like, screaming the whole time, and I was like, oh my gosh, he actually looks so good doing that. And now that you mentioned, Toni, that he social dances salsa and tango, that makes perfect sense. But I just died. I thought it was the best number. I would see that number again. All the other numbers, they were good, but to me, that was like, had everything in it that was good for him.
He was certainly sure of himself, and I thought it was very interesting when she said it's the first time they had gotten through it.
I know, because
It was like, really?
It looked like this was all news to him. He was like, "This is what I do, and this
This is what I do.
It looked like it was really in his
Swagger,
body.
yeah.
His muscles knew it. But, yeah, I mean, they had a bad dress rehearsal.
He just looked so at ease the entire time. And I remember the first week I was like, why would they put PETA with him? And then the second he started dancing, I was blown away. There's just something so captivating about the way he moves. Like, he knows every inch of her and every inch of himself, and he knows how to use it. I think it's fantastic.
So it'll be interesting to see him dancing things he hasn't danced
a little
before.
bit quicker things. Yeah, will be interesting.
8-10. Yeah, there was the 10. 8-8 on that for a total of 34.
I thought it was cute that he kind of got a 10. I thought it was cute.
For
I mean,
his
not
swag.
deserved, but cute.
It was a swag 10, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so Bethany and Derek, Jazz, Singing in the Rain. I want to say something about Bethany. I thought that, realizing that Gene Kelly is Derek's idol, like understanding the magnitude of that. Sometimes at 18, 19, you don't get it. She understood that, which I thought was great when Patricia Kelly came into the studio, too. So that was great. What do we think of the number?
Who wants to go?
Go ahead, Suri.
Overall, fantastic. I got to give her props for handling the props well, considering, her...
And Sharna said, I'm glad someone's umbrella works well for them.
Exactly.
She tweeted that out.
I've had a hard time connecting with her over the season. I want to love her, especially because she's paired with my boy Derek. Not that he's not my boy, I just really like him. I don't know. It was great.
She was a half second behind him the whole time. Did anyone else notice that?
Yes,
I caught that.
But I also they got 40. I think. Did they get a 40?
They got a 40.
And I was like, no, it wasn't a 40.
Yep.
Yeah.
No one called out the fact that she was a little bit behind him the whole time.
I wish that maybe this routine would have been done with one of his better partners, like in terms of like a Nicole Scherzinger or Jennifer Grey or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone who's a little bit older who can handle that style that Singing in the Rain
That
would have.
40s,
That kind of like, I don't know. I enjoy her, but the thing is like her YouTube following is so huge and she's so captivating on screen. I'm missing that in terms of being on the dance floor, and I don't know what's happening.
I don't connect with her
She's
at
a
all.
web star,
Yeah.
not a movie star,
Yeah.
not a TV star.
But people
She's
tune
a
in, choose to
web
tune into that.
star. And I thought, oh my God, he's going to do Singing in the Rain because this guy is brilliant. He's a fabulous actor. Really, I've seen him do some work as an actor.
Yeah, I loved him in Footloose.
And he's just so brilliant at everything he does. And I thought it was going to be better. Because he did channel Gene Kelly. I mean, he did these little pas de chat jumps just like Gene Kelly. Just like him. But, then I thought, well, he didn't flourish it. And I thought, is he not because he wants to keep it even with her because she's kind of just skating along? Or?
And she's dancing with a broken bone in her foot, by the way.
and
So
we see that her foot is wrapped in black, so it doesn't let us forget her foot is wrapped. It could have been wrapped in a nude thing, but no, it's wrapped in black.
I
so we
noticed
go,
that too.
foot hurt, her foot hurts, her foot hurts, her foot hurts.
Yeah.
So
It's true, though.
So I thought it was going to be a little bit more than it was. But, we expect so much from him.
Yes.
All right, you guys, we do have to wrap up because we're late here in the studio, unfortunately. I just want to remind everyone next week is Most Memorable Year, so that'll be emotional. And we know the switch up is coming in a couple weeks, so that'll be crazy. Toni, thank you so much for joining us.
I love doing it.
Tell us where we can find you online.
Oh, I have a YouTube channel, Toni Basil's House, and I have a tweet, which I have no idea what it's called.
Toni _Basil.
Oh, thank you. I have, and I'm working with Bette Midler again, and we're out and going, so.
We love Bet. All right, Anna, feel better. Where can we find you online?
Thank you. You can find me on Twitter at Trebunskaya, Instagram Trebunskaya, and Trebunskaya Facebook and the website. So see you all and have a great rest of the week.
All right, Jake.
You can find me on Twitter at Jake_Dupree and on Instagram at Jake Dupree and on my Facebook.
Suri.
Yeah, my Facebook too.
Yes, find me at Suri Serano. all of social media.
All right, I'm at Kristyn Burtt on Twitter and the Kristyn Burtt on Instagram and Facebook. Next week, Corky Ballas will be here. We'll see you all next week, week 4 of Dancing with the Stars.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.